These Russian school children are rehearsing music numbers they'll be performing at the next Russian folk festival in Limassol. But they only know Russia from vacations. Their home is Cyprus. Natalia Kardash also considers this harbor city her home. 13 years ago, the businesswoman made the move from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. She now publishes Vestnik Kypri, or Cyprus News, a Russian-language newspaper. She's proud of how much the Russian community has contributed to prosperity in the island nation.
But businessmen working in international businesses, paying taxes here, buying food, renting flats, buying property, yes, they are important for the economy. And comparing to the number of people who live in Cyprus, 50,000 Russian people comparing to 800,000 Cypriots, this is quite a big number.
Many of the expatriates live in Limassol. It's common to hear Russian in the streets and shops here. Visitors will also find Cyrillic lettering on delivery trucks, as well as in real estate offices and restaurants. There's Russian beer in the Russian supermarket, and in one of Limassol's municipal parks, there's a monument to the Russian poet Alexander Pushkin. It was a gift from the mayor of Moscow. Cypriot President Dimitris Christofias was a student in the Russian capital back during the Soviet era. Kardash says the two countries had good relations even back then, and that the island's tradition of hospitality has drawn Russians ever since.
You know, the speed of life here is slower than in European countries or in Russia, but we see that people enjoy living, they enjoy communication, they enjoy being with family, and that's what many people miss.
In summer, Russian is often heard in the hotels and on the beaches. Fewer and fewer tourists are arriving from the EU, but the number of Russian vacationers has almost doubled over the last 12 months. Many Greek Cypriots are happy to see them.
They feel a lot closer, they're much more welcome. To be honest, I don't know why. Maybe it's historical ties. We're both Christian Orthodox. But as I said, it's difficult to tell why.
Money certainly plays a role. Since the start of the euro crisis, an average 60 businesses have closed down here every month. But the Russians are continuing to invest. They currently account for more than a quarter of the deposits in Cypriot banks and around a third of its international investments. Many of those investors, however, are exploiting tax loopholes. They've set up bogus firms to evade the Russian tax authorities. In Cyprus, the companies only pay 10% tax. The firms don't want publicity. When we tried to film the newly founded Russian RCB bank in Limassol, security guards quickly arrived. The financial crisis is making many international investors in Cyprus nervous, but others see the country's problems as an opportunity for Russian-Cypriot relations.
You know that $2.5 billion was received on very good conditions as a loan for Cyprus government. So it means we have a very good economical ties.
The Russian ambassador and the Cypriot finance minister have a lot to discuss. The Mediterranean nation is reportedly in the final stages of negotiations for a further $5 billion loan. But that dependence has a downside. Freighters carrying suspicious cargo have been seen leaving Limassol's harbor, some say carrying Russian weapons to Syria and other areas of armed conflict. And although people are watching their words, the Russian mafia is also rumored to have gained a foothold on the island.
The globalization, at some point in time, it will put pressure on everybody to clean up its act. I think we're in the process of doing this, but I'm sure some of the money going through Cyprus, you refer to how much these funds are. Some of them surely will be dirty money.
Critics say the government in Nicosia has grown too dependent on Russia. But while Cyprus seeks to deal with both Moscow and Brussels, the Russians have become a permanent fixture.
They are not trying to live in ghetto, in, let's say, one area of Limassol, and you will call this a Russian village. No, they live everywhere, they go to the same restaurants, Cypriot go, they visit the same events, they go to the same beaches, so they feel like a part of the country.
So even if the economic crisis deepens, the Russians appear to be in Cyprus to stay.